Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? What up, everybody? You know what time it is. Once again, it is your man, Jelani JB Bodie, and this is the Wait a Minute Show. Uh, there's never a dull day in sports, I don't think. I think there's always something going on when you least expect it, and you're just like, you know what? It ain't gonna be one, and then something pops up, and you're like, okay. All right. And this is one of those days. So welcome back. If you haven't already, man, make sure you're following the show, like and subscribe, uh, turn on those notifications, put those comments, do all that good stuff that we always ask you to do each and every single episode. And I got him back again. Mr. Mo is in the building. Mo, what up?
What's up, JB?
Chilling.
You say it's never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment, bro. Like it's
LSU
something.
Alabama championship game. It's
What?
a dull moment.
Oh.
LSU Alabama championship. You remember that dull moment? What's going on, man?
I'm sure there was something else that was transpiring that day to, not make it totally, a dull day, but it's always something. It's always something. At least always something go on during the week. Then we can talk about here, which we'll get into in just a moment. But how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. Feeling real
Nice.
good. I enjoyed
Maybe
the
not
draft, man.
after we start talking, but we'll see. What happens.
I can just turn off my mic and my camera, man. We'll get through that. We'll get through that. If you're going where I think you're going, then yeah, it's gonna be a short show today. It's gonna be a dull moment.
Hey, well, it was not a dull moment. I'm glad you said that, Mo, but it was not a dull moment in the NFL. Kicking off this past week was the draft, and we all were sitting there trying to find out who, what, where, when, why, and all that stuff that was going to transpire. And one of it was Shedeur Sanders, right? Where would Shedeur Sanders land? What team was going to pick him up? And I think all of us, we were like, all right, is it a first round or second round? Nobody, and I mean nobody, expected him to drop to the fifth round in the NFL draft. So I'm gonna start right there. First and foremost, I'm gonna start off with ain't no way you gonna sell me on that Shedeur is a fifth round quarterback. Ain't no way you gonna sell me on that. You're not gonna tell me about mechanics. You're not gonna tell me. You're not gonna tell me on all of these, all this stuff, because as far as like how the man got to where he is right now, he did not go the traditional route, if you will. You could say he took the hard way, to get where he is now. I do believe that there's some pettiness that is going on in the NFL. There's some pettiness. And here's what I'm gonna say, Mo. And if you want to jump in on this, is totally fine. But I'm gonna run with this. The reason I say the pettiness is that those stories that was coming out as far as like he, went into some interviews, maybe and I think Shadur came out and said, he could have, handled it a different way. Here's my thing about that though. This is a talent-based, production-based business. You got so many guys that is very talented, but they not squeaky clean, and they still draft these guys. I've seen Isaiah Thomas talked about this, the Isaiah Thomas Detroit Pistons. He didn't want to go to Detroit. He said he did everything he could to try and make sure that interview went poorly. And Detroit told him, you can do anything that you want, but at the end of the day, we're gonna draft you if you're right there. And I'm like, unless Shadur went in there and said your mama or something like that, then you can still bring in a guy like that and say, hey, this is not all that stuff that you were doing or whatever it is that you didn't like that he did. You can say, well, you can throw that out the door. We finna do it this way, X, Y, and Z, and just move on. So I just find it, it's really hypocritical that you're gonna have these things about him, But then we see in the draft, people leak stuff, people lie. They say all this stuff to get draft picks to fall or, to turn people off from drafting because I want to draft that guy. So I miss me with that.
Yeah, listen. Listen. I got a lot of thoughts about this situation, but I'm gonna try my best to keep it simple because you're right. It's the entertainment business, right? These are athletes. We're not going into a corporate boardroom dealing with
No,
accountants and Wall Street and whatever it is. You're not going to tell me that there are 4 quarterbacks better than Shedeur that was in this draft, right? Do we agree on that?
I agree.
All right. So my biggest question is, at this point, you let him slip down. I don't know what Cleveland was doing because if you want to be petty, be petty. But once you got to that Dylan Gabriel pick, that's when you lost me. You lost me right there because now you went for a quarterback, but if you're trying to prove a point, you're really doing some real Cleveland Brownish stuff right here.
That's what
they do.
Yeah.
But at this point, is he really going to even get a fair chance now to prove himself? Because now you got five quarterbacks on the roster, bro. You got five quarterbacks on the roster. And what I hadn't heard was how difficult it's going to be for a 5th round pick to really even get a chance to prove himself, unless somebody get hurt. I mean, let's say 4 and a possible. We're going to just kind of the Deshaun Watson situation. We're going to make that obsolete. But you can help me out. Name the quarterbacks. You got Joe Flacco. You got
Dylan Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur, and Deshaun.
And Deshaun is not going to play this year.
He's not going to play.
Yeah.
So now you're a 5th round pick, and you're at the back of this roster. I mean, he may not even get enough reps to get out there and show him what he could do. I don't think he's going to be there. I don't think he's going to be. I don't think his career. I don't think he's going to be in Cleveland 2 years.
And that's the funny part about it. And I'm glad you said that is he really going to get a fair shot? Because let's just be honest. They traded for Kenny Pickett. That should be your first option. He's been in the league. He started. I don't have a problem with that. But if y'all get to practice and he start outplaying Kenny and Dylan and Joe and and no offense to Joe Flacco, but it's just like Joe Flacco is the older guy. So you would think if there's somebody that's expendable, we're gonna go with the younger talent, and Joe might be out, but is he gonna really get a fair shot? And I heard some people talk about him being a distraction, being there and everything. Come on, man. You drafted Tim Tebow. That's a distraction. And I was for Tim Tebow getting drafted, just so everybody, get it straight. But you also can't say someone's going to be a distraction when you allow Hard Knocks and all these other people to roam about your office and behind the scenes and follow your executives and all this stuff. And you want to give all this access, so you really can't talk about distractions, in this day and age. Now, if this was the 90s or something like that, early 2000, yeah, because that stuff wasn't going on. But the kid hasn't done anything other than, if you feel he's a little arrogant or he's a little cocky or anything like that, but he's squeaky clean off the field.
Listen, man, and I'm not even going to go. We done heard all the comparisons about players. You saying Shedeur is cocky. So we bring up the Joe Burrows. We bring up some of the Aaron Rodgers antics and all this stuff. We're not even finna do that. My thing is, look at it a different way. Because I don't know what went on in these interviews behind closed doors. Or, it had to be something crazy for him to slip as low as he did without that many quarterbacks being available. And that many teams needing a quarterback. But look at what you're bringing in. You got a player that comes from good stock. He's been around NFL locker rooms. He's the son of a Hall of Famer, one of the best, arguably the best in this position of all time. And look at his play on the field. I mean, he got hit, 1 million times. Every other play, he on his back. Not once did you see him run up on the sidelines, cussing out players, complaining about it, talking about it in post-game interviews and stuff. I mean, dude built for it. He built for it. In my opinion. I'm not saying he's going to go out here and be a Hall of Famer, be great. But dude, look at your roster, man. Your best player on your roster is Joe Flacco, right? look at some of these other teams. I don't know what Pittsburgh was doing. Vegas could have
Vegas,
used a quarterback. I mean, I don't get it.
Rams,
Oh, do Pittsburgh even
backup.
have a quarterback? Did they even get a quarterback?
They brought Mason Rudolph back, and then they drafted
Come on, man.
the Howard kid out of Ohio State.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I think I think it's a bad look on the NFL as a whole. I mean, because you just sent a clear message. I mean, you just sent a clear message, and I don't know. Hopefully, he'll get a chance to prove himself, get a shot,
Yeah,
and make the roster. If nothing else, even if they cut him, somebody gonna pick him up. Hopefully,
yeah.
you
I
know.
think, yeah, as long as they don't sabotage them, then they'll be good.
Yeah, because now you get to the point where you got to start talking about collusion, and we really don't want to go there. That's an ugly word. I mean,
No,
you know what I'm
no.
saying?
Right,
So
right. Let's get off Shedeur, man. Move into still gonna stay in the draft, but obviously everybody's looking at their teams and what transpired, what happened, what's good, what's bad, and all this stuff. Winners and losers, right? Winners and losers of the NFL draft. And so normally, what I've done in the past as far as like winners and losers, I look at your draft. I'm like, you drafted this person, you draft. Well, you know what? It happens every year, and then people get A plus grades and all this stuff, and then they pick him first overall the next year once again. So you never really know how a draft is going to work out. You got an idea, but you never really know. You can't depend on it. But what I do want to talk about when I talk about winners and losers, on it, I want to send a shout out. And Mo, this one right here, we were talking about, people being petty and all this stuff. There are some good things that go along with football. So I wanted to highlight, this guy. His name is Baron Sorrell or Sorrell, if I'm saying this right, linebacker. I think he went to Texas, if I remember correctly. But the reason I'm bringing up that name, I won't give a big win to this dude because he showed up day one, did not get drafted. He was in the green room. He was there for day two, did not get drafted, and he came back for day three. And the Green Bay Packers drafted him on day three, man. So I want to give a big shout out, a big win to this dude for sticking it out because most dudes would have went home. They would have been had attitude or whatever the case, may have been. And like there's something to be said about that, high character, and congratulations because he got his moment, right? Uh there's guys that want that moment, but they want it in certain situation. They got to have it, their way to a certain degree. But he got his moment, so I'm glad he was able to walk out on stage, meet the commissioner, get that moment, and now he can go and get to work. The other thing is he got drafted by the Green Bay Packers. So I think they told him, Mo, I think they told him, like, when you walk out on the stage, if you look to the left, there'll be our offices. So just cross the street and you can come over and we'll do our press conference, right
that was
away.
dope.
No, no plane, no bus, no car, no nothing, for this dude. Loser of the draft. And I'm not saying that this person is a loser, but it is a loser moment. Not a big L, but it is a loser moment. And Jeff Ulbrich, the Atlanta Falcons D coordinator. Unfortunately, his son decided to prank call Shedeur Sanders and act like he had got drafted. And Shedeur wasn't alone. There's some other people that did, other players. We just don't have any names, So when I say loser, I'm just talking about that's the moment because here's the thing is that the kid apologized. I know, the way the society and social media, they're going to try and ruin the kid's life or anything like that. Give him a hard time or whatever. Make sure he understands his mistake or anything like that, but don't try and ruin the kid. Uh, but he came out, he apologized. But the reason I say it's just a loser moment for the NFL is because I'm thinking about Jeff, like you get a job, Mo. You get a job. I think he's been here in Atlanta before, but you get a job. You're the DC. You're starting out new with a crew and everything, and you're trying to get your job up and going, and then your kid go out and do something crazy, like this. They said he was at home, and I guess the iPad was out, and it had Shadeur's phone number. So I get it. It'll be different if he had left the iPad out, at a Five Guys or something like that, and somebody got a hold of it. But I'm sure that's the last thing you're thinking is that your kid is gonna, do something like this. Now I gotta take time for what I'm doing to call the Sanders, try to make this right, try to protect my kid, try to, all this stuff. And I'm just wondering, like, what 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 could have made him really just think that I know he's a kid, but what
He
a young
listen,
kid.
no, I'm tired of hearing that. I'm tired of hearing that. He called another kid that was about to get drafted. You know how mean spirited that is to do
It
something like
is.
that?
It is.
I mean, when I saw it, and I think Tyler Warren got a call too, but
Yeah.
and
Somebody
I
else
think
got
a
one
few other
too.
people, yeah.
Yeah.
But first of all, and I'm not trying to beat up on the DC. You got to be more careful though. You can't leave an iPad. It's draft day, right? You got this iPad out with Shedeur Sanders, the star of the draft. You know what I'm saying? Number one cast member of the draft, and boom, something like that
But you're at
happens. And
home though.
I don't care where you at. That's part of
You
your. You
I
done
mean,
brought
but
work from
Mo,
home. You don't let your kids play on your computer.
no,
Hey
but
man, we
I'm
can't.
just saying from the story, and I'm not defending this. I'm just saying from what the story was what I got from it is that he was at home and the iPad was out and his kid came across it and he didn't know, and the kid wrote the number down, I guess went on by his business or whatever. I'm just saying, of all places, if I'm at home, I'm thinking I can sit this down, go to the bathroom or go get a cookie or something like that,
Nope.
and I don't have to worry about. But Mo, you saying nah,
No,
nah,
I'm not
this
buying it. I'm
this
not
is
buying it. I'm not going for.
okay.
I'm
All
not
right.
saying he had anything to do with it.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
just
I
saying
got you.
that it was a horrible mistake. It was a horrible mistake to make. You know, he
Hmm.
know his kid. He know his kid's subject to do something like that. You got an office. You a defensive coordinator at the crib. Put that iPad in your office. Lock that door. It's grind time because it's draft day. I don't want no distractions. I don't want nothing to go wrong. And your little knucklehead kid did something like that, and he apologized. I'm not accepting your apology if I'm Shedeur, but
Yeah.
or anybody else. But yeah, that was just mean spirited.
Hey,
I hate that.
can you imagine? I don't know Jeff Oberg at all. Just from seeing him on TV, he
They
was
say
on
he a
Hard
good
Knocks.
dude.
Yeah, they say he a good dude, but I'm just saying, like, Jeff don't play no games with his players too, if you've seen him
Right,
on Hard Knocks.
right.
So I can only imagine after he found out it was my kid, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill him. I'm
Oh, he
gonna
picked him
kill
up with
him."
one hand. I mean, he had
Yeah,
him up like this with one hand.
yeah,
He about to
yeah,
strangle him to death. He's still
yeah.
beating on him right now.
He
But
probably he probably snatched him up, man. Like,
what's
bro.
interesting is, so I heard that it wasn't the kid's voice on the phone. He was he I guess orchestrated the prank call, allowed it to
Mhm.
happen, but I think it was somebody else was involved in that. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely. I believe that's the other part. I wasn't gonna get into that, but I believe this is a group. I would not be surprised if it came out later that it was some other kids,
Hmm.
parents. They got the number off their parents because those phones. That's not Shadeur's phone. That's a phone that
Right,
the NFL gave him.
right,
So yeah, I would not be surprised if later on it came out and just said, "All right, this kid," because just like the players and the coaches and all that stuff, their kids talk to other kids and they're cool. Oh, my dad is this, my dad does this, my mom does this, my mom, and all that stuff. So I would not be surprised if a few of them, he just ain't gonna snitch on them, but
right.
if a few of them said, "Yeah, let's just all do this. This would be funny."
Yeah, yeah. He got to feel it.
Horrible,
He got to
horrible
feel it. And
decision.
if I'm
Oh.
Shador, I'll see you at some point. Don't get in no trouble behind it. But yeah, I can't forgive you until I'm a Hall of Famer now.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I got to accomplish so much to where I done just forgot
Wow.
all about that.
Wow. Oh my God. You are wow, man. Speaking of wow, let's get into some NBA talk. The playoffs. It's been crazy. It's been wow. And I'm gonna bear Mo for a second, but I want to talk about my Pistons and New York Knicks and not the game itself. Yes, the Knicks goes up 3-1 and all that stuff. We're not going to talk about the game. Everybody's talking about the foul, right? The foul, and the foul that did not happen, where Hart fouled Tim Hardaway Jr. on a three, which by all chances, Tim probably does make the free throws, at least maybe to tie it up, possibly win the game. But that's not really what I want to talk about. What I really want to talk about is the process, right? And this is not just because it's my Pistons. This is not because it just happened and all this stuff. I've been tired of this for a long time. When they came out with the whole 2-minute report, I thought it was the most ridiculous thing to have, and I still think it's the most ridiculous thing to have, because all you're doing is you're telling me something that I already knew. So what? I don't need a 2-minute report for that. I don't need somebody to come back and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, we should have called the foul. You're not changing anything. You're not getting it right. So here's what I suggest, Mo. My suggestion is that let's try for the playoffs. We don't have to do it regular season or anything like that, even though it would help, because I've seen cases where it should have helped in that. But let's do for the playoffs for the last minute of the fourth quarter, and then anything in overtime. You got someone upstairs, somewhere in that building, maybe, or they're at headquarters, whatever, that can chime down and buzz those refs and say, you got it wrong. For something like that, because that was at the buzzer, you could have got it. You could have got it right. You could have got that situation. I go back, even though it was the regular season, at the end of the game where KD, this mug got a size 29 shoe. He stepped all over the out of bounds line, and the ref didn't see it, and everybody else did. Which I'm still confused, because your job is to watch the game. Don't get me wrong. The refs do a real, for the most part, do a really good job. But why not have somebody in there that was last minute to keep an extra eye to help out the refs? There's a lot going on, at that point, and say, hey, you know what? I saw this. This is a outstanding call. This is an outstanding situation. Not, a little subject ticky tack or anything like that. It was
You want to
clear
see like
cut
a
that,
booth review.
yeah, like they make it. The coaches can't make it or anything like that. They make it. They're watching it. You're still on the court. You can buzz them down and just say, hey, you know what? Whatever. Because they do it now.
It ain't a
They
bad
call
idea.
timeout.
I mean,
They
it ain't a
review
bad
stuff.
idea.
Yeah, and then
It's,
they go back and they say, oh, after the review, then we're gonna do this, that, or that really wasn't a foul, or stuff like that. They take points away when
yeah.
somebody step on the line and shoot a three. They give them a three, then they review it later on the next play or whatever, and they take it away. So that's what I'm just like, let's just get it. Let's put something in place to get it right. That person that's making it, they don't have to always be involved. But in that particular case, a situation like that, I think that would have helped out, because now I am going to talk about the Pistons for a split second. That really shifted. That game could have been 2-2, which that's a whole different series versus 3-1.
Yeah, and they've been letting them boys play too, and you
They
never
have.
know. It
They
could have
have. You're right.
easily, I mean, you're going to probably disrupt the flow of the game, the rhythm of the game. If a certain team got momentum going, and now you got this whistle coming down from up top. But I mean, you got to do something. You got to do something, and I do think that's something they'll probably revisit in the off season,
Yeah.
as far as
Last minute.
how they calling these games. But I don't know. Put it in. Submit that suggestion to the NBA
Yeah.
officials, man.
I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna drop it in the ballot box or somewhere. They'll probably just throw it out in the back.
Look at you. That's 2 good ideas in 2 weeks, JB.
I'm trying.
working.
I'm trying.
Okay.
This is probably gonna change your mind now. But Lakers and these guys down 3-1. Speaking of 3-1, down 3-1 to the Timberwolves, and I think LeBron did not agree with a play. I think it's the play on Ant-Man, if I'm correct.
And
I gotta
LeBron was right.
disagree. I gotta disagree with LeBron on this one, because he was talking about the hand being part of the ball. Bro, he slapped Ant on the wrist, bro. That's not.
Come on.
That's not. Bruh. Look. This is my hand. This is my hand. This is my wrist. If I'm just saying, Mo, if somebody say I got a broke wrist, they don't put the cast here.
Listen,
I'm just saying.
This
So
be consistent. Be consistent with how you call in these games. That's all I'm saying. Be consistent. Now you let these boys play, and it's not just the Detroit and the Knicks. It's been across the league. Jaylen Brown talking about fighting, right? He talking about we're gonna end up having to fight to make this thing right because of the way they call in game. Be consistent. Right there at the end of the game, that's a game deciding call right there, right? That's to me as a fan. That's not enough to overturn that call. You stopped the game at that moment and went to overturn that call, to review it and overturn the call. That's not enough. That wasn't enough. I mean, you got every angle except maybe one. You couldn't even see contact. You couldn't see it. You couldn't see it. I sat there and watched that live, and I'm sitting there with a plate in my hand. I couldn't even finish eating my meal, man. I couldn't even finish dinner. I'm like, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on.
Hey.
But I mean, listen, and I know you're gonna talk about the game, but
the replay I saw, to me, it was the wrist. Slapped him on the wrist.
Ball, man. It was all ball, man. LeBron getting the ball bounced off of Ant-Man, went out of bounds. I mean, they had it right the first time. But go ahead, though.
Maybe they not even in this situation, Mo, because JJ Redick decided ain't nobody sitting. All this shit. All this shit.
He pulled the Thibodeau, didn't he? I'm like, come on, JJ, what you doing?
That wasn't even a Thibodeau. That was
God almighty. I mean, they got
on drum line.
LeBron 177 years old, man. I'm like, come on, man. The boys look tired, man. And to be honest with you, Minnesota's a better team. They bigger, and I mean, we struggling in the paint with them. I mean, we knew we was going to run into a problem like this when we lost AD, but we didn't know it was going to be round one of the playoffs. But you got matched up with who you got matched up with,
But how you feel about JJ Redick and deciding not to play anybody?
I thought it was a horrible guy. He got out coached. And JJ know that. Listen, JJ do his little podcast, right? Or did his little podcast. I tell you what, ask that version of JJ Redick how he feel about that. Ooh. And I guarantee you, he'll be like, you know what? I should have done it differently. I made a mistake. He know it.
You know, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I know if I'm on that bench, I'm looking around, Mo, and like, what's really good, JJ? Like, none of us is good for a minute. Like bro, for real, Vincent.
And you needed him out there. You needed his size.
Jackson Hayes I don't know. Is he injured? No, I don't think he's injured.
It's playoffs, man. Everybody injured, but you got to get out there.
Yeah, and that was my point, is that JJ is a smart guy, very smart guy. And for him to do that is just shocking, because guys can feel a certain way. Now, the other thing is you put tremendous pressure on your starters. You got more games to play. This isn't
right.
Game 7 that or an elimination game or anything like that. And it just, I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of tells, not that he believes this, but it kind of just says to your team, none of y'all can do anything for us right now in this second half. That's why I'm sitting y'all. And it's like,
my problem.
Yeah.
That's my problem, because, a lot of times a coach would go out here and make a wild, random, crazy decision like Kyle Shanahan does all the time. If it works, okay, he's a genius. But in this situation, even if it would have worked, if the Lakers would have won that game, dude, what are you doing? Because now, like you said, we got more games to play.
Yeah, you got another game.
That's a horrible strategy. I don't get it. I didn't understand it. And, I mean, it probably cost us, more than likely cost us, the series. I mean, straight up, because, look, you were already going to struggle with Minnesota anyway, because right now they're a better team, regardless. But you can't be out-coached, too. You can't be out-worked. You can't be out-hustled. You can't be out-coached. And that's what we just saw. and
think
we
JJ
lost. We lost to
forgot?
the refs, huh?
You think JJ forgot?
Listen, this his first year. JJ is he learning on the job right now. I don't know what's going on, but I mean, maybe he did, man.
They
It's
were
funny
like,
watching some of these players, man. You know, they got it all figured out behind the camera. And then now they down there on the floor on that sideline. It's like, wait a minute, this ain't what it was. Don
hey,
Staley talked about that.
you know how at the post game they be looking at the paper like this. They be going through the stuff, and I wonder if JJ knew, and he would look and he was like, nobody play.
Oh, you talking about that kind of forgot?
Yeah,
I hope
like
not.
I didn't
I hope
sub.
not.
We didn't.
We
I
got a
didn't
bigger
sub
problem.
nobody.
Yeah,
No,
we
nobody
got a
told
bigger
me.
problem if he forgot. Somebody had to say something. Listen, if I'm on that sideline, I'm like, hey, coach, man, what's up? Like for real. If I know I've been a part of what got us to this point, I'm talking. You're not finna sit here and ignore me for
Yeah,
48
and,
minutes.
and I played the first half.
Yeah. You're not finna ignore
Like,
me. If I'm
it,
LeBron,
yeah,
like, man, hey, look,
and
I'm calling it LeBron. Come on now. You could have walked up to that sideline and pointed, hey, you, come on, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, that was the other part I was thinking about. Like, was LeBron, Luca, or Austin? Were they just kind of looking over, like, "Hey, you gonna sub anybody in? Like,
Yeah.
bro, like, what are we doing?
I don't know,
What are we
man.
doing?" But
Well, let me find out LeBron had something to do with that. He like somebody done ticked him off in the locker room or something. Like, ain't none of y'all playing. Ain't none of y'all playing. Like, Luca, let's go. Luca looking over there like he done
oh,
ate a whole bag of gummy bears, sluggish,
yeah.
barely getting up and down the floor. But
Hey,
yeah, it'll
he
be a
got him.
different game.
He got him playing basketball at Pelican Bay.
Yeah,
So,
we'll win by 20 tomorrow and then lose in game 6.
yeah. Well, we'll
So
see. We'll see.
I'm
All
still a
right.
Laker fan.
Well, that's another one, ladies and gentlemen. So, who knows what we'll be talking about next time, but make sure you come back to find out what we'll be talking about. I'm sure there'll still be more draft stuff, definitely more NBA playoff stuff that we'll be talking about. And I'll be trying to figure out how I can tick Mo off once again. But until then, I'm going to holler at y'all later, man. Two things as always: stay positive, push forward. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.